Dear students, welcome and thank you for tuning in to this video. I'm Dr. Loay Al-Zube and I'm continuing a series of lectures in medical instrumentation. In this video, I will be talking about the measurements of the respiratory system. I'm going to create a series of videos about the measurements of the respiratory system. The first three of them are going to be a quick introduction about respiration, and then we'll get into more and more videos about the measurements of the respiratory system and how important those are. So the first thing I would like to mention here is the lecture outline, and I'm going to be talking about the topics in red. So I will be talking about respiration in general, what it is and what are the most important components of the respiration system and how to control respiration. And then I will be talking about the block diagrams of air pathways, breathing reflexes, mechanisms, and lung volumes and capacities. Later on, I will be talking about, in other videos, about respiratory therapy and all the types of devices or instruments that we use to help people breathe if they need that, like inhalators, ventilators, respirators, and then resuscitators, humidifiers, nebulizers, and aspirators. And we will talk about medical gases and safety systems. But in this series of videos, I will be focusing on the topics in the red. So I will start with the first topic, which is block diagram of air pathways and respiration. So the first thing I would like to define actually is that what is respiration? Respiration is determined by gases and pressures. Gas usually move from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure, and that is simple diffusion. If we look at the pressure outside the human body, it is 760 millimeter mercuries, and the intrapulmonary pressure is also 760 millimeter mercury. What is intrapulmonary pressure? So within the lungs, it is usually greater than intrathoracic pressure, causing the lungs to remain slightly inflated after expiration. Respiration is the the interchange actually of gases between an organism and the media in which it lives. We have two things, inspiration and expiration. Usually in inspiration, the volume of the lungs increase, and that is reducing the pressure of the inside the lungs just slightly, and that is causing air to flow inside the lungs. In case of expiration, muscles are, in both ways, inspiration and expirations, we have muscles acting, and we're going to talk about how to control inspiration and expiration in the following video, actually, of this video. But in the case of expiration, muscles are pressing on the lungs, so the volume will decrease, and that is going to increase the pressure inside, which causes airflow to go outside of the lungs to do the expiration. We have also two things that I would like to describe and mention. Something called internal respiration, and the other one is called external respiration. I want you to know what those are, and we're going to explain them with more schematics as well to illustrate. So internal respiration is the exchange of gases between the bloodstream and nearby cells, and this is happening inside the body, not in the lungs. So this could be in the tissue, like in the muscles, in the liver, in the heart, in the stomach. So that's called internal respiration. External respiration is the exchange of gases between lungs and the bloodstream, and that is what is happening in the lungs. You can look at the schematic of the lung and how they are, where they are, and we are going to talk as biomedical engineers. We will be focusing our discussion to explain the diaphragm functionality as well as the intercostal muscles, which are the muscles that are connecting the ribs. This is a medical instrumentation class, and we will be talking a lot about muscles and EMG in this lecture. Let's go back to internal respiration and external respiration. So for internal respiration, as we mentioned, it is actually the exchange of gases between bloodstream and nearby cells, and this is a schematic that shows that. So if this is a cell here, this is the capillaries, and the bloodstream is flowing through the capillaries, and there are blood cells with oxygen. So what is going to happen inside the capillaries or the arteries, we have red blood cells, oxygenated red blood cells. So that means that the pressure of oxygen in the capillary is 100, high, which is 100 millimeter mercury. However, inside a cell, a nearby cell, because of the use of oxygen in metabolism, we have a low concentration pressure of oxygen, which is roughly 30 millimeter mercuries. And if we follow the rules of simple diffusion, oxygen will flow from high concentration to low concentration. So that's how the cells will get their oxygen. So the oxygen will detach from the red blood cells and go into the cell. On the other hand, we have high concentration of CO2 inside the cell because of metabolism. And in the capillaries we have, so it's 50 millimeter mercury. In the capillaries we have lower CO2 concentration, that's 40 millimeter mercury. And following the rules of simple diffusion, CO2, carbon dioxide, will diffuse from the cells into the interstitial space to the capillary and the capillaries and the blood plasma there, and it could be attached to the red blood cells. And that's what we mean by internal respiration. So this process is the exchange of oxygen and CO2 internally within the tissues.